So I want to go over 2.6, okay? And I'm going to, from the English, I'm going to write, I'm going to substitute in the statement constants as I go, and then I'll finish it off, okay? So number 1 says, Al likes Airedales, but Bob likes Beagles, comma, unless both Catherine has a Catahoula and then Darla. Okay. So first thing I'm going to try to do is determine what the main logical operator is, and the fact that I have a comma with the logical operator tells me this is the main logical operator, okay? Which means all of this needs to stay together, so I need to keep it together with parentheses, and all of this needs to stay together, and I'll keep it together with parentheses. Unless I told you the easiest way to translate that is just as an or. Okay, so just unless is or. So now I need to translate all of that. I need to keep it together so that it functions as a disjunct. A, but just means and, A and B. Over here, this is a disjunct, and I see both, and so I would automatically put a parentheses up to keep the next two things together, C and D, and that's it. So I end up with extra parentheses, but that's perfectly okay. Does everybody understand that? If you wanted to make it look pretty, you would simply say that. Okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, Al likes Airedales, but, and then it says Eric does not want, but E is for Eric wants, so I'm going to put not E to make it clear, okay? English Fox sound, comma, unless both Catherine, blah, 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 and Bob likes Beagles. Okay. Comma, unless, again, is the main logical operator. That's an or. That means all this needs to be held together as a disjunct, and all of this is a disjunct. Okay? The only difference is A and not E, unless, and keep this together, C and B. Okay? And yes, I could get rid of those and it would still be good. Any questions about this? Okay. All right. 3. Al likes Airedales, that's A. But Eric doesn't, so that's not E. Comma, unless not both Catherine and Bob. Okay. Looking for the main logical operator again. Comma, unless tells me that's the main one. Easiest way to handle it is an or. That means all of this stays together, and all of this stays together as disjuncts, okay? So A, but not E, okay? Now, remember, all this stays together. Not both C and B, and close it. Okay. Yes, I could eliminate these. Okay, everybody understand that? But I put them up there out of habit in case that disjunct went on for a long way. And if I didn't have them up there, I might not keep it all as a disjunct, okay? Now, one thing, not both. This is what I did. Not, all right, both, parentheses, okay? Don't try to read these, internalize them, and then spit them back out. Because then people have the habit of saying, not both, huh? That means not C and not B. No, it does not. It means not the quantity B and C, which is different than not B and not C, okay? These are not the same, so just do it mechanically, as it were, okay? That was 3, right? About 4. Al likes Airedales, but Eric doesn't, so not E, comma, unless Catherine doesn't, so that's not C, and Bob likes beagles. Okay. Comma, unless main operator, and by the way, unless is not the main operator of the universe, right? This is just an accident of this homework exercise. But so, boom, main operator, keep all this together as one thing, keep all that together as another thing. Okay, A, but not E. Okay, keep all this together, not C and B. Okay, notice there's no parentheses between the not and the C because it doesn't say not both, it just says not. Everybody see the difference between this one and that one? Okay. Please stop me if there's something that doesn't make sense. Okay. 5. Eric doesn't want, so E is Eric wants, so I'm going to say not E unless Frank wants one. Okay. So that's just not E or F. That's easy enough. Okay. 6. Catherine has a Catahoula is a sufficient condition for Gloria wants. Okay. Is a sufficient condition for is a conditional. Okay. Yes.
Do we put parentheses when there's only a comma?
No.
Okay.
But when there is a comma, that's saying, hey, here's the main operator. And a lot of time, it's safe to just say, well, let's put some parentheses up to hold all this stuff together to make sure that this is one part of the operator and then parentheses, this is the other part of the operator, right? So if I had this, comma, unless, I know that's going to be an or, and everything to the left goes in these and everything to the right goes in those. Got that? If I had comma and, well, I'm going to have this, everything to the left here, everything there. So, does that make sense? Okay. Yes?
Would we have 2 comma?
Can we have 2 commas? Yes, we can have more than 1 comma, like Al and Bob and Steve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know why it's Al, Bob, and Steve. And it depends on how these were written, but we take this as a string of ands, A and B and S, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is not a well-formed formula, and since these are all ands, we can arbitrarily do this or arbitrarily do that. This one would probably be preferred because that kind of signifies main operator. Although when it's a string, it's not identifying main operator as much. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 7. Catherine has a Catahoula, 7. is a sufficient condition for Gloria, comma, if Bob. Okay. All right, comma if tells us that this is the main operator, okay? And so we know if statements are conditionals, if-then statements, okay? That means all of this, since it's an if, is either the antecedent or the consequent, and all of that is the antecedent or consequent. So whatever we do, we need to put brackets around all of that stuff. Everybody got that? Now we have to decide, is this the antecedent or is that the antecedent? Well, we have this rule, whatever follows if is the antecedent unless it's only if, okay? But this is just what? If. So what follows it is the antecedent. B is the antecedent. Antecedents go before or behind the hook? Before. Antecedents go in front. So this needs to come in front, and like I said, I wanted to keep it all together, so I'm going to put parentheses around it, B. Okay? All of this is the consequent. So I'm going to put parentheses up to keep all this together. Now, C is a sufficient condition for. Sufficient condition for is the hook. And when it's a sufficient condition, the order stays the same, right? So I'm just going to put C, then G, and I'm done, okay? I could eliminate the parentheses around B, and we could reduce it to that. Either one of these is perfectly acceptable, okay? 8. If Gloria wants a foxhound, comma, then either Eric, blah, 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 or Frank, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If G, comma, then. This